This is a short story of two good friends. To teach us that true friendship goes much further than superficially knowing people or getting on well with lots of people. Ken gave Eric his first job at his law firm. Eric is now a well-known lawyer. Eric has 5 years of legal experience at Ken's firm. Ken's law firm is growing in the city. Ken admires Eric because he frequently wins million-dollar cases. Ken has accepted Eric into his family. They occasionally have dinner together to discuss business. Their friendship has grown. Ken, Eric's boss, is a favorite of his parents. Eric received a phone call one evening. This was not a random phone call. It was a phone call from one of the owners of a rival and well-known law firm in town. The boss explained that they had been monitoring his progress for over 5 years. They decided it was time to hire him and offered him a position in their law firm. Eric was supposed to go to the law firm the next morning. Eric was shown around the law firm on the morning of his arrival. The executives then proposed a lucrative contract with generous allowances and bonuses. Eric was taken aback. His eyes were wide open, but he kept his disbelief to himself. The contract he was offered was 4 times that of his current job. He had a week to decide whether or not to join. Eric went straight home that day. He called his boss, Ken, and asked for a day off. Ken inquired if everything was fine, to which Eric replied that everything was fine. Eric had the longest week he'd ever had. He would go to work every day, debating whether or not to take on a new challenge. He was curious what his boss Ken would think of it. He considered calling his parents. He made the decision not to. Eric made the decision to sign the contract. He broke the news to his boss Ken that evening over dinner. Ken was devastated. He asked Eric to stay and promised to raise his salary the following month. Eric was aware of his boss's decision but politely declined to stay. Ken threw a party for Eric during his handover. He thanked Eric for his hard work and dedication. Later, while the two were talking, Ken wished Eric well. He reminded him that this would always be his first home, and that he was welcome to return at any time. Eric failed to notify his parents of the change. Eric had a difficult first month at work. It was a struggle. He had to juggle several cases, while also attending to several clients at the same time. This was not something Eric was used to. He would work through the night on clients' cases. He was completely exhausted. He couldn't think clearly. The job became overwhelming after the second month of working. He considered quitting. Eric decided to call his mother at this point. He started by apologizing to his mother. He explained that he had changed jobs and was now working at a new law firm for the second month. He told his mother that things weren't going well for him, and that he was considering quitting. He also mentioned that he was afraid to call his old boss Ken. His mother, perplexed by the turn of events, discussed Eric's situation with his father. They all agreed that he should resign. They contended that his well-being was more important than anything else. Eric's mother asked him to resign and call his former boss Ken to see if there was still a position available at his law firm. Eric approached his current bosses and requested a resignation. Eric's bosses couldn't believe he was giving up such a lucrative contract. Eric didn't say much. He requested to leave. Eric was released. Eric called his former boss Ken and asked to meet him for dinner later that night. Ken agreed. During dinner, Ken inquired about Eric's well-being, and he explained that things were not going as planned. He went on to say that he had resigned. Ken was taken aback. He did, however, ask Eric to work for him again. Eric agreed. When Eric returned to work after a week off, Ken threw him a welcome party. Friendship brings you up when you're down, inspires you when you're in a rut, and best friends offer you more than support. They also provide an opportunity to give as well as to receive. Indeed, sometimes, there's nothing better than a friend who needs your help. The story of Eric and Tom shows the true value of friendship. Thanks for watching. Click on the subscribe button for more stories like this.